сотрудничеству в рамках союзного государства, а на совещании в
One brave Russian woman interrupted a live Russian newscast to protest Putin's invasion of Ukraine. So I'm going to play this video. I'm going to discuss how this happened, who this is, what she's likely facing now because of it, and just, as somebody that used to work in broadcast news, maybe a little insight into why this happened or how this happened, because this is not this is not common, obviously. So let me play this for you and discuss a little more about it.
Российский премьер подчеркнул, надо усилить сотрудничество в рамках союзного государства, а на совещании в правительстве обсуждали, как сохранить доступность лекарств.
All right, that is not something you see every day. A protest during a live newscast in a closed door setting. They're not out on location somewhere like, when CNN goes out to a debate where there's people in the background holding signs. This is at their studio. There's a protest there, which goes to clearly what this person's role is or who they work for. As we'll get to, yes, she worked for the station. You're not going to have some random person. As I said, I used to work in broadcast, but I don't think you need to work in broadcast to know this. They have security. Not any random person can come up, off the street, barge onto a set and protest a war like this. So this is someone who worked for the station. Adding even we can't downplay the courage needed here. She is putting her job on the line. She's putting herself on the line, potentially her family on the line for going out there and protesting this war, this invasion publicly on air when Russia has already shut down every independent news station because of their criticisms of this invasion. And I'll get to more on that in a minute here. But first, more on who this person is, as I already told you, but I'll get to her name and what she may be facing because of this, and also what her sign said, what she was chanting. So let's start with that. This from Kevin Rothrock, who is a Russian journalist, writing here apparently, or I'll just go to what he says here about the sign. So the news broadcast, so with the sign that said, "Stop the war, don't believe propaganda, they're lying to you here." Which is it's incredible. As she's talking, she's saying, they're lying to you here. And then, so she was chanting, "No to war, stop the war." Amazing. Now, so this person, more on that, the girl who came into frame during the live broadcast of the program on Channel 1 with an anti-war poster is Marina Ovsinakova. There you go. I almost got it. An employee of the channel. After appearing on the air, the girl was detained. Now she is at the police department. Her friends report this. And more here. This is from the actual news station. So again, this is a Russian state-owned news agency. The translation here saying an internal check is being carried out on Channel 1 in connection with an incident with an outsider in the frame during a live broadcast. The girl who broke into the studio of the program is facing an administrative case, a source said. So they're saying she broke in. I'm not sure if they're trying to protect the reputation of the news network or maybe protect her in some way, or maybe they're just saying, hey, she wasn't supposed to be working that day and maybe she broke in with her key card and got in there. But it's, again, someone that worked for the station. She didn't really, break in technically. But an administrative case, this essentially means, I'll get to more on this in a second, but essentially means a misdemeanor. So maybe a few days in jail. It's unlikely she'll face, the full 15 years that you can possibly get for protesting, but I guess that's still possible. So more here from Kevin. For those saying this demonstrator will automatically get 15 years in prison, I believe that prison only becomes a punishment for war disinfo with repeat offenses. So for that to be in play, she'd need a previous conviction or they'd need to charge her with 2 crimes here, which they still may. So, it's not out of the question to think that she could possibly get 15 years for doing this, which is just, any time at all is completely insane. But God, 15 years is just, again, the courage here is, I can't even imagine it. And which also goes to say to another point about even Russians living around the globe, like athletes, celebrities. It's important that we shouldn't expect them to come out and protest this war. I know there's, calls for certain celebrities or athletes to come out against, Putin's invasion here, but understand that them doing that potentially puts their families back at home at risk. So you have to think to yourself, is that would you risk that if you were in that position? I don't know. I don't think I would, to be honest. I'm not going to risk my family's life back in Russia, if I had family in Russia, risk their lives because of me, just for my voice to come out against an invasion, which, let's say one athlete or one celebrity, is that really going to have that much of an impact on the invasion? Probably not. So, I think a lot of celebrities and athletes are weighing that, right? They're thinking, is it really worth me coming out publicly and potentially putting, not just my life, but my family's life at risk for doing so? In most cases, it doesn't seem like a smart thing to do. But a little more here on, just to end on how Russia has simply, ended independent media since the beginning of this invasion. So this from the beginning of the month from Deadline here. TV Rain, Russia's last independent TV channel, airs symbolic protest on final broadcast. So before I even get to the breakdown on this, they were charged with, I think I have it here. So Russia's telecommunications regulator announced it was banning TV Rain, accusing it of inciting protests and disrupting the public for simply being critical of the invasion and critical of the Kremlin in general. But more here on that. So TV Rain, a youth-focused Russian TV station, often critical of the Kremlin, was shut down by state authorities on Thursday, but its staff got in one last full newscast that ended in a symbolic protest. At the end of the night's report, the staff gathered around the news desk. The anchors were overheard saying "no war" as everyone walked off together. The broadcast image of the empty studio was replaced by the TV station's logo and a message asking for donations before the telecast cut to old footage from a performance of Tchaikovsky's ballet Swan Lake. The Swan Lake bit was a inspired, highly evocative gesture, especially for Russians who could recall the coup of August 1991, when unable to actually report the news, stations simply played footage of the ballet for 3 days nonstop. So I guess the best way you can possibly end a newscast like this, they did it. TV Rain did it. And it goes to show you how rare these sorts of protests or these sorts of voices are right now in Russian media. So to have, a reminder that this is not the Russian people's invasion. This is really Putin's invasion. It's good to be reminded of this. It's good to see this, while also keeping in mind the amount of courage that is needed to do something like this.